Hello, golf friends, and welcome back. I'd like to talk a lot about a continuation of the last lesson. Hands. What are the hands doing? What are the fingers doing? How do we actually have face control? How do we control the face of this club? Keep it as square as we can for as long as we can. Keep it as shallow as we can for as long as we can. So it just allows the window of opportunity for this club to interact with that ball, a lot more consistency within our game. Therefore, our misses. Well, that's what this whole game is about. Like, how good are your misses? Are significantly better. I mean, we watch the pros, they drop the club in disgust when they hit the right edge of the green instead of the middle of the green, or the left edge of the green instead of the right edge. But they're still on the green. They still have a very good opportunity to two putt for par, and that's all we're looking for. You know, a good opportunity at par, a nice opportunity to get a birdie. Really avoid the big numbers with big misses. And when the hands freak out around the ball and flip up, over rotate, get really, really steep, our misses are all over the place. And we just want to limit, we want to narrow the dispersion factor of what our misses are from here down to here. And to do so, we really got to feel like this lead arm, which needs to be the dominant arm in the golf swing, has a much better understanding kinesthetically of what it's doing through the ball. So what I've become pretty decent at doing is describing in great detail what things feel like, what muscles are doing what, when, and why. And when we learn in a specific nature what this arm is doing without the turn, you know, we're not talking much about turn back, we're not talking much about turn through. These first two drills are really simply about what this arm and hand are doing to control the face through impact. When this arm is pulling down like this, you don't see much turn in my body. You see my shoulder pushing back, club hinging via the momentum of the club. You know, this feeling of doing this right here, this fulcrum that is the pinky, when this wrist is pushing down and the forearm is really controlling the club rather than the fingers and the hand trying to do things with it, the big muscles are again controlling the club. And that's what we want in golf. So when this wrist pushes down, that hinges the club up. And we do this and we feel a lot of control in the forearm, not the fingers, not the hand. When we're in this position at address, we're really more than halfway hinged, in my opinion. This is a full hinge. This is no hinge. We could play like Mo Norman and Bryson DeChambeau and be out here and do that type of movement. You know, there's no one way to do this, but we see a great amount of golfers closer to this. Arms hanging so that we can turn, so the arms can be swung by the body. Now, when the arms are swung by the body, the arms need to understand what they're doing, especially down through impact. That's what this whole drill is about. So if I'm right here and I'm already pretty hinged, I want to feel like this shoulder goes straight back. In relation to the full swing, when I'm turning, that shoulder is going to go straight back for me as well. And we want the big muscles controlling it. Forearm is just holding. We want to feel like this shoulder goes straight back, and then we can feel like it drops down. Very similar to the last drill. We'll get up into the fuller swing in a second. But this arm and hand needs to understand what it's like to, again, release the club back here. Jack Nicklaus, the club is released back here. We're holding through impact. We're not trying to have a secondary release down here where we scoop up and manipulate the face. We want to let it go back there so that we can just be turning through, pulling through, and letting that club interact with the ball without us manipulating and trying to scoop it up. As soon as we try and scoop, this hand, boom, we're going to hit it heavy. This hand over here, it tries to scoop, we're going to hit it heavy. If we scoop too soon, we're going to miss it and hit it thin and lose this angle. This is probably the most difficult thing to learn in golf, how to allow this wrist to be flat or even bowed at impact. And we're just going to address what the hands need to do right off the bat. It's wonderful, if you have it, some turf, to draw a dot on the ground, to get used to feeling that club brush that dot, going right over it without getting steep and missing it. Wherever I pull this handle, the head is going to follow. So wherever this handle is, if I just pull it right at that dot and then let go, it'll hit the dot. It'll follow where it's going, similar to a hammer. You know, if we have two fulcrums in the hammer, elbow and wrist, and I pull down, boom, right? This is going to follow this. Boom, snap right on the head. So if I'm back here, we want to feel and get used to really doing it just on a dot on the ground. Tees when you're playing, broken tees, dirt, When your buddies are on the tee, you're constantly doing this. Push it back, pull it down, let it release. Let the fingers hold and let that club release into the ground or into the ball. When we feel that type of release back here, our consistency goes through the roof because we allow that club to come in nice and shallow. We allow the rotation to happen in the body. Once the arms try and do something or the hands try and do something, the body shuts down. It can no longer rotate. If I'm back here and I throw my shoulder but my hand goes, my whole elbow's going to stop. If I pull this arm down but that wrist goes, my whole arm is going to stop. It breaks the whip effect that we have when we're really throwing the golf club. It breaks the sequence of that release. So we start really small, just like the other drill. Back and through. And we're able to hold this angle. We don't want to finish here. We want to finish here. There's not much momentum when we're doing this small little chipping tap, this chipping swing, so it's easier for us to hold this angle through here, nice and shallow. Then we get a little bit bigger. Same as the other one. Boom. Coming through, doing our best not to flip it up, not to manipulate, to allow it to come in nice and shallow. Boom. Getting really used to feeling this wrist, back of the hand. The back of this hand is the same as the face of the club, pointed toward target. We're trying to hit a draw, it's pointed over there a little bit. Not like this, that's the big old slice, and that's an awful thing that we all are well too familiar with, myself of course included. We don't want it facing way over there. That's the pull hook. So we just learn how to really control that face in a specific manner. What is this arm doing? What is this hand doing? What are these fingers doing? The grip is so down in the left finger. Most people hold it across the palm in their left hand because they're right-handed. But we want to get it so down in that knuckle so that it's leveraged under the heel of this hand, so that that heel of the hand can have the control of hinging it for us, so that the fingers can hold it more firmly and control the face, control the shaft. If it's across the palm, you realize you just don't have much pressure. You don't have much control of it. You can feel it when you hit the ball. It'll manipulate, it'll twist in your hand. And it's so fascinating to think about a ball on the ground, hit off the toe. This thing is moving 80, 70, 60 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour, hitting a ball that's not even moving, and it shifts in your hand. It shifts. You can't hold on to it. You can't maintain that grip. A lovely little drill to help strengthen the hands. You just carry one of these in the car. Whenever you're driving, sitting in traffic, get used to squeezing, nice and flat, bowed even, and roll that whole forearm over. You'll start to really feel a lot of control under this arm. You'll develop the strength for this arm to maintain a squared face and control that club through impact. I've gone so far as to learn how to write left-handed, to create more dexterity in my left arm, my left body, my right brain, so that it can really control the golf club rather than my dominant arm, which doesn't need to do very much. So back to the drill. Now we get to the fun part. We want to feel like shoulder, back, heel of hand pushes out, thumb catches. We don't need thumb pressure. If we have a lot of thumb pressure right here, it pushes my hand off of the club. As well, it casts. You know, thumb and index fingers don't do much in either hand. You want to feel it catch. You want to be flat or bowed by this time, right here. We don't want to be really cupped right here, because if I'm pulling this way, it's so much manipulation for me to get down to here. If we watch every great golfer, they have some kind of forward press, forward hinge, assimilating what it's like for them to get into impact. We can do the same thing here. So we can press forward. That's where we're going to be, somewhere near impact. Mirroring that impact position reminds our body, like, okay, I start here, but at impact, I want to be here. I want to feel this hand really holding it. So we let shoulder go back, straight back. If I'm right here, I don't go outside, I don't go inside. I go straight back. If you have a mirror on the wall and it has one of those lines in it, put your mirror back here, you're looking at that line, making sure that arm goes straight back. Wanting to see that face, still looking at the ground. If the wrist is flat by this time, amazing, excellent. Brooks Koepka, Colin Morikawa, Dustin Johnson, everybody is flat by this time in their golf swing, okay? That means that they can turn as hard as they want and know that they have a squared face for an enormous period of time. So back to the drill. Shoulder back, wrist, pushing out, forearm, and then we just pull right here. This shoulder is holding it right here. If I let go of this shoulder, my arm is going to swing. I'm not going to flip. I'm not going to try and do anything. If I let go of this shoulder, my arm swings. This is the thing that's really releasing. Same thing with the right drill when we're driving down into it. When shoulder gets to the ball, it just releases and lets the arm swing. We want to feel that same thing here. Pull, let it release. And you can really see that hand controlling in the forearm, letting the fingers just hold, letting that wrist stay flat. So I am pulling from here to here, and then just letting it go, letting it rotate. If I just held the golf club right here, and I just let go of that shoulder, it's going to fall. It's going to rotate. The momentum of this toe out here is always wanting to turn that way, always wanting to turn that way. If I let it go, it's going to rotate my forearm for me. I have to let go of that arm. I can't let that shoulder lift up. So it's about pulling to here and letting go. Because if I pull over to here, that's the same thing in the golf swing as me getting here and trying to lift it up into the air. And we don't want that. We don't need that. We can tuck our armpit up in here, just pull that shirt up into the armpit and make sure that we're able to maintain that rather than trying to lift the ball up into the air. So again, to rehash, we start off small, little tiny ones. Boom, boom, off the face, nice and flat. No flip, no opening, no manipulation of that face angle. Just very passive hands. And then we get a little bit bigger at it. Boom, boom, pull. Let that club interact with the ball. Let it release. There's a significant amount of hold through impact. There's a massive amount of hold on impact when we are swinging driver as fast as we can. We're just trying to hold that face and turn, get it squared. Look at where that hand is. Look at that face angle, perfectly square, whether it be there or there. So we just give this arm an education of what it's like. Give this hand an education of what it's like to be pulling down. When we're pulling down like this, it's the same sensation and release as if I had turned and my body was turning. So if my body is turning from here, it is pulling my arm. I am engaged here. It is pulling my arm. I want to feel so much hold, not letting my arms outrace, not letting them manipulate and flip. I want to feel so much hold while I just rotate. We can't rotate much more than right here, and the arms will just keep releasing through because they've been released here. Boom, boom, cruising through. Give that arm the education. When your buddies are playing golf, there's broken tees everywhere. It is a ton of fun to just find a broken tee, hit it, nail your buddy in the chest or something like that. You'll be like, oh, sorry, it was an accident. I didn't even know you were sitting there. I didn't even know I could hit a tee that well. Let me try it again. Oh, snap, I got you one more time. My bad, bro. Boom, boom. Just holding in this arm, letting those fingers do the work of squaring that face with the forearm. Again, start small at home. You can do this 10, 20 times at home. Keep a golf club in the corner, a real golf ball. Keep some squishy golf balls. Squishy golf balls are the greatest thing ever. They don't break anything. You don't have to worry about anything in your house getting shattered, girlfriend yelling at you, wife yelling at you. Start off really small, boom, boom. Then just bang this thing all over the house, boom. You'll get all the same sensation. That was a terrible shot, by the way. That's what it's like when you flip. Did you hear that sound? God awful. Nobody's perfect. None of us hit a perfect shot every time. Again, it goes back to how good are your misses? How good is that miss? Boom, beautiful. That thing will bounce all over the house. You get a little bit better feedback on the kind of wiffle ball ones like this that have holes in them, or in the squishy one. But this squishy one, man, you can hit this thing all over the house. It won't break things. We feel like it's shoulder back, boom. Then I just let this heel of the hand push out, really extended, very straight arm. Thumb catches it. Then from here, I am pulling right at the ball. Handle right at the ball. When we get to the top back here, you have to let it rotate. You can't pull the handle over here without letting this ulnar rotation happening. Right here, we're on plane. Ball, handle, club, all on that left arm. Pulling down, keeping it on plane or under plane. If I'm here and my hand goes to hit, we're over the top. You can come over the top anytime in any golf swing. I can pull, get right here, boom, over the top. Came over it, that ball's going way the hell left. Maybe I came over it and I decided to scoop. That ball's starting way the hell left, cutting way off to the right. We want to get consistency in just letting it hold in that hand so we can be square all day and give that hand the education it deserves, because it needs to be the dominant arm, hand, fingers, way down in the fingers, letting them do the work. Thank you. Hope it was helpful. Hopefully this brings a little bit more consistency to your game, a little better understanding of what the release feels like. It's the softest thing ever. When the hips are working properly, when the big muscles are working properly, the arms just swing and we just control the face. This lead arm, wherever this hand is pointed, that's where the ball's going to end up going. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Play well. Cheers.